How has running helped your sustainability journey? I mean, the real answer is how has running not helped my sustainability journey? I guess you could say that running wasn't involved when I first developed my passion for sustainability. I've recently traced it back to where I think it came from. I honestly think it came from obviously a few things, but one of the major points I think for me is watching the movie Fern Gully. I recently watched it again, and it was one that my sister and I used to love when we were kids. And I think that was the starting point for my environmental lean. And over the years, it's just continued to develop. But how has running come into it is the question. And I think running has allowed me to really see the changes while I've been out, literally running around the streets. I am able to see the damages that weather can produce from extreme weather patterns that come associated with climate change. I have also been able to see all the excess and waste that people put out on the side of the streets, which just makes me think about the accumulation of that. If one family alone is putting out this much waste in a week, multiply that by 52 weeks a year, multiply that by all the houses around, it really got me to be thinking about that. And then beyond there, I started to think about races and just how much waste was coming out of them. Millions of cups coming out of a race like the Chicago Marathon, who have now switched to compostable cups, which is great. But then being aware of just how much waste is coming from those events. I recently got to see that while working at the Chicago Marathon with their sustainability team. I got to see just how much was left behind in the starting area. And honestly, it was pretty mind-blowing. So running has continued to develop it just as I have been exposed to different areas, different considerations, also thinking about climate justice and how many of the lower income neighborhoods, which happen to be Black and brown communities, are disproportionately affected by climate change and therefore not given the resources to those sustainable items and services that many of us may be able to access. And so considering how that is affecting things, my running has also allowed me to see that in full view. And so that's definitely, I think, a piece of how my running and sustainability have intersected. And the biggest thing for me that comes to mind is that there is a huge gap between the work that races and brands are doing and the general public. There is very little knowledge. For example, I'm wearing Allbirds right now. Allbirds has on every item of clothing, I can't lift up, oh wait, maybe can, a carbon number, which is the amount of CO2 per CO2 kilograms of carbon that is created for each item that is made. So this says 8.1 is the carbon footprint, kilograms of carbon. So that means that that is 8.1 kilograms of carbon per one of these made. Now, other brands are starting to follow suit, but to the average person, if they see an 8.1 on my shirt, they're like, what does that mean? And so I have become aware that for me, my place in the running space is going to be bridging the gap, letting people know about these initiatives, letting these things be known so that then people can take action and take steps and be aware of it and talk about it with friends and just get this momentum going. So I'm hoping that in the future I can answer the question better than this, because I can say that sustainability and running is just the intersection. It's everything, and it kind of is. I am aware that that running takes people all over the world, and flights are not an ideal situation right now. You can see that I'm in a hotel room, and being in this hotel room means I'm traveling. That's also additional resources. However, I've also come to realize that you have to think about the bigger picture of what the work you are doing is. And that's really what I am coming to recognize, is that the work that I am doing to bring awareness to these sustainability initiatives, yes, takes an initial hit in terms of the carbon emissions that I am outputting by traveling to these places, but it far outweighs uh, the impact by the benefit that I'm giving by making people aware of what these brands and what these events and other groups are doing. I hope that answers the question, and I'm excited to see where it develops from here. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time.